It's been a long day without you, my friend. But I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. Welcome back, everybody, and welcome back to Conservation versus Society, a quiet space for stories, science, and faith for a changing planet. As you settle in, picture a small hidden path in the woods, soft earth, cool shade, and the feeling that something gentle is growing just out of sight. Today, we close the week, and if you remember our theme for the week, which I hope you did, and I hope you carried it with you along the way, it's understanding that you are worth it and you have a place here. We're gonna end it with a story about worth, quiet growth, and the truth that sometimes the best things grow when no one is looking. Let's take a slow breath. And begin. My name is Shaya, and I'm grateful you're here with me today. If you're new, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you for being a part of this growing space. This podcast is a gentle place where we learn from nature, listen to our hearts, and explore how fate can guide us, even through the quiet struggles we carry. Today's story is about hidden worth, the garden that grew in silence, the garden that grew in secret. In a small village surrounded by rolling hills, lived a woman named Alera. She loved plants, but she didn't think she was very good at growing them. Every year, the village held a spring garden show. People brought bright flowers, tall vines, and perfect rows of vegetables. Alera always felt too shy to join. Her plants grew slowly. Some stayed small, some never bloomed at all. One year, after seeing the other gardens, Alera whispered to herself, "Maybe I'm just not good enough at this." Still, she kept tending her little patch of soil, and it was behind her home, a place no one ever saw. She watered it gently, spoke to the seedlings, and cleared the weeds with care. Weeks passed, then months. Nothing seemed to change. One morning, after a long night of rain, Alera stepped outside and froze. Her small hidden garden had exploded with life. Tiny green shots had pushed through the soil. Soft flowers.
I didn't understand that.
The garden that grew in secret. In a small village surrounded by hills, lived a woman named E. She loved plants, but she didn't think she was very good at them. Every year, the village had a small garden show. People brought bright flowers, tall vines, and perfect rows of vegetables. E always felt too shy to join. Her plants grew slowly. Some stayed small, some never bloomed at all. One year, after seeing the other gardens, Eve whispered to herself, "Maybe I'm not good enough at this." Still, she kept tending to her little patch of soil behind her home, a space no one ever saw. She watered it, she spoke to the seedlings, and she cleared the weeds with care. Weeks passed, then months. Nothing seemed to change. One morning, after a long night of rain, Eve stepped outside and froze. Her small hidden garden had exploded with life. Tiny green saplings had pushed through the soil. Soft flowers had opened their petals. Vines curled around the fence like they had been waiting for this moment. Eve knelt down, tears filling her eyes. All this time, she doubted herself. The garden had been growing in secret. Later that week, a child from the village was wandering behind Eve's house and gasped, "Miss E, this is the most beautiful garden I've ever seen." Eve smiled softly, not because the garden was perfect, but because it was hers. It had grown slowly, quietly, and softly. And in that moment, she realized something. She had been good enough all along. Eve's story spoke to a truth many of us forget. Have you ever felt like nothing in your life was growing? Have you ever felt like the progress was too slow, too small, too quiet to matter? We often judge ourselves by what others see, but real growth, deep growth, often happens in secret. Roots grow underground. Seeds open in the dark. Forests begin with tiny sprouts. Same sprouts that nobody notices at first. Your growth may not be loud. It may not be fast. It may even not be visible yet. But that doesn't mean it isn't real. Sometimes the most beautiful parts of us are growing quietly, waiting for the right moment to rise. Today's segment of our Bible segment is 1 Samuel 16:7. Again, 1 Samuel 16:7. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. This verse reminds us that God sees what others don't. He sees the hidden work. He sees the quiet growth, the small steps, the secret garden inside us. Eve thought she wasn't good enough because she couldn't see her own progress. But God could. And in time, so could she. Has life ever made you feel unseen or overlooked? Because it has. For me. I don't know about you, but one of the biggest reasons I did this week on confidence or growing your confidence, that is kind of the theme we're going for this week, is because I didn't have the confidence originally to do this podcast. I mean, I had the idea, right? But I didn't feel like I belonged. And over time, the garden that's inside, that was planting the seeds for this podcast, they were there. And all they needed was a little time for it to bloom. Because guess what? Here we are today, about to end today's episode. So those seeds have sprouted. And now, we're just waiting for it to grow. And like E's garden, this podcast will take some time to grow. And that's natural. So, with that said, I would like to thank you for being the real supporter of this podcast. Every time you like, comment, or share, you help us grow. You help more people find these stories. You help build this space. Your support is what lifts this podcast up. Up. Your voice, your time, your presence. This is what keeps us going. If you haven't heard already from the other episodes, because you're new and this is your first episode, please follow us on our social medias. We are trying to get to 1,000 followers. And in return, we will have a special episode. So please, check out the links in the description. And just know that there's never any pressure. And support is support, no matter how big or how small. As we close today, I invite you to picture E's garden. Quiet, soft, and full of life. Life that no one saw at first. And just think. And guess what? I pray that you may trust in your own hidden growth. May you honor the slow work inside you. And may you remember that even in silence, you are becoming something beautiful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for enduring all of my stuttering, all of my mistakes, and even just a little bit of hoarse voice going on here and there. This is Conservation versus Society, where stories, science, and faith for a changing planet. Thank you.